If you're here, still amongst those people thinking that doing good isn't good for business, then I'm here to share some facts to show that actually the opposite is true. Recent research released by McKinsey has found that actually those who are driving impact initiatives and creating value, not just for their own companies, but for the planet at large, are outperforming their non-purpose competitors by 8%. That's right, we're talking a cumulative growth over 5 years of 28% compared to only 20% of their non-purpose peers. And it matters to our stakeholders too. Consumers are demanding that organisations stand for good. In that competitive landscape, what I often hear from leaders who want to move their potential towards purpose is a really common roadblock. And that roadblock is surrounded by their fear. You see, these kind, well-intentioned, multi-skilled and multi-passionate people get stuck imagining the visionaries that we all look to. Those big, purpose-driven organisations like the Patagonias and the people and the organisations that are creating huge, sustainable change at large. Now, don't get me wrong, those visionaries are the people that we want to keep in our mind's eyes as we imagine how we can bring our own unique skills and strengths to the table. But it's not always the place to start. In fact, I would argue that starting from a place of fear will get you nowhere. And that the key to unlocking that fear and moving towards the motivation that will start your own purpose journey wherever you're at is with mindset. Over the past 5 years, my team and I have looked at 100 purpose-driven organizations, from small startups and entrepreneurs and community groups to the Fortune 500s. And what all of these individuals have revealed in their leadership is a specific mindset, which we call the impact mindset, and core human capabilities and cultural characteristics that help them to drive their impact. Now, the exciting part of this is it helps you to take all of their learnings and all of their human capabilities into your own organization. So let's start with the impact mindset. Remembering that the mindset is that key to unlocking the fear that is holding your hopes, dreams, and vision for a better future locked inside. The impact mindset can be considered across 2 different types of individuals, or goals if you like. The first is a local mindset. Those who believe that the change they can create is small and sustainable in incremental steps in their closer communities over time. Think of initiatives like wanting to move the recycling campaign in your local area and make a nudge of just 5%. Now that's a purpose goal that we can put into our own families at home, let alone our business and organisations. A simple one to start. Then there's the global mindset. And these are the people who believe that they can create scalable, innovative solutions that traverse across countries and create change for good. Now, the global mindset, of course, requires collaboration. It requires coming together with other good humans to combine that collective intelligence, consciousness, skills and strengths for the common purpose of good. So whether it be a local impact mindset or a global impact mindset, or a combination of the two that drives your business imperative, I want you to start by considering an internal audit of your organization or your goals. What are your unique skills, strengths, and values that you and your people bring to the table? When you consider the products or the services that you deliver every day to consumers who enjoy seeing your vision brought to life, what is a sustainable development goal that you could align that product or service with? If you could imagine just one tiny, small 1% nudge that makes this world a better place, what's the change that you'd like to see? What's something that has irritated you about the world around that you can see a simple solution for, a tiny actionable step that you wish somebody would take? What if that somebody was you? The impact framework allows you and your people to then consider, once you've got that actionable, measurable goal, how can you then rely on the individual and cultural characteristics of your organization or your team to bring that to life? Let's go through them now. The 3 individual characteristics that we found were integrated identities, a sense of meaning and mattering, and then an understanding of belonging or a knowing of your people. Those organisations that really harnessed opportunities for the individual players within their teams to understand their core sense of self, to show up to work and know that the contributions that they made mattered, and to feel a sense of unity, connection and belonging within a diverse range of teams were the organisations that flew. Then there's the 3 cultural characteristics, and these we found to be authenticity, compassion, by the way, for leaders, that includes self-compassion, and transformation. Let's start with authenticity. Authenticity is a word that I hear people get upset about. It's like, how can I possibly bring my authentic self to work? I mean, as an ADHDer, if I brought my true authentic self to work, you'd all be meeting No Filter Maz. I might not get any more speaking gigs after that. Of course, when we come to work, there are parts of ourselves that we want to share with our teams and our organisations. But authenticity, when it comes to impact-driven cultures, the leaders shared with us was actually walking the talk on the vision. Too many times, organisations that promote they stand for purpose actually hide behind a wall of vision statements. And that doesn't land for the people in your organisation who experience what we call in psychology the cognitive dissonance, which is the gap between values and behaviour. What instead your people want is you in your whole self. The whole self that shows up with a values-aligned style of leadership, ready and equipped with skills in emotional intelligence, communication, and performance agility to bring your people towards their full potential. Compassion. Arguably the key to change when it comes to creating the good that we want to see. Compassion takes empathy that one step further. It requires us to step into an understanding, or at least acquire a curious perspective around somebody else's experience and then respond with action. The gift of compassion is it creates the groundwork, if you like, for psychological safety. With a compassionate culture, your people feel invited to step in to their true potential, to innovate without that fear of being judged or the risk of being told that their ideas aren't quite good enough for that key outcome. Compassion invites us all to lean in, to be curious and to be kind. Leaders who are self-compassionate are able to then reflect on the change that they need to make within, without that noisy self-talk that says, I'm not on the right track, I should be doing better. Self-compassion asks us to look at those moments of suffering that come with the inevitable change that our organisations face in a way that is kind to ourselves. As Kristen Neff says, the 3 components of self-compassion are to ask ourselves to take check that this is a moment of struggle or of suffering, and that struggle or suffering is a normal part of the human condition, and that in that moment we need to be kind to ourselves. And our last point, transformation. Those cultures that encourage their people to look within and reach out to connect, to expand their worldview, to take on a diversity of thought styles, of cultural backgrounds, and to really collaborate in a way that invites an ongoing adoption of learning are those who thrive. Now, we know in the leadership space, of course, we have transformative leaders, and I'm going to argue that the future of leadership goes beyond transformational and towards transcendent leadership styles. With the emergence of AI, we know that many of our traditional jobs, even those in the help space, which we thought would be untouched, are potentially going to be outsourced in the future. What we are seeing at a global level is the desire and the need for leaders who can transcend above what is being achieved at the artificial level and toward connecting with where our human potential and development wants to go. Taken together, the impact framework, those 6 key pillars of integrated identity, meaning and mattering, people, the diversity of cultural background, of thought, of minds. And then the 3 cultural characteristics: authenticity, compassion, and transformation within your leadership teams and the cultures you create can help you to create the change that you wish to see in the world and stand out as an organisation that doesn't just drive value for your own business and profit margin, but that changes the world for the better